Hey Harmonizers, come feed the horses with me. We're going to start off in the barn here. This is little Bunny. I thought you guys would like to see how she's doing. She's figured out coming into the barn for supper time and really enjoying her mush that she gets. She gets an optimal supplement for vitamins and minerals. She gets some alfalfa pellets for the amino acids that are there and the proteins that are complete proteins. And then she gets some oil as well for her coat. So here's a little look at some of the horses coming into the barn. So some of the horses get fed inside and some of them in the outdoor stalls. Just kind of depends on which paddock they're in. So this is one of the horses. This is Lily. She's one of the border horses coming into the stall here. And one of our staff is bringing her in. So we bring the horses in. We usually slip the halters off and they basically eat their meal. And then we try to put them back outside. And afterwards the stalls get a little muck. And we do try to put them in the same stalls every day. This little guy is Marty. Here's another boarder. This is Ori. So he's just in for training for a month with Franny there, who's bringing him in. So he's just with her for the month. And we slip those halters off and we let them eat their meal. We usually have their bucket waiting for them in the stall that we're bringing them to, just to make it a little easier and smoother. Sometimes we put horses in the outdoor round pen if the weather is nice to eat their dinner. And then here's a look at the outdoor stalls. They do have a little cover over, so they're not completely unsheltered. That's Valero eating out of his bucket there. You can see all of the buckets have their names on them. We have tried using duct tape and writing on them, but it works better if we get the letters. And you may notice that not all of the letters are the same size. So that was Valero and Chili, and this is Neymar. And that's just because we ran out of all the same size stickers, and they didn't have the same ones in the store. And this over here is Pentland, one of my 2016 makeover horses. So those are the outdoor stalls. And then the nice thing about doing this is you feed one field. Those were the boys that were all in. And then the next field kind of sees everybody getting fed, and they're all waiting by their gates ready. So that's field 5 in the distance. Indy's tossing his head at us. Very excited that it's going to be supper time coming over. So that makes it a little bit handy because the fields are pretty long and big. And if you had to walk all the way back to go get all the horses, that would definitely be a little challenging. So the other boys group are hanging out there getting ready to come in. Indy, of course, first at the gate. Indy's one of the boarders. He'll be hopefully going to the makeover next year for 2021 with one of my students. And I just wanted to show you guys while we're out here. So their waters are finally working, but we have gate panels at the sides because now we just have to get the fencing touched up around the waters to make sure that nobody tries to crawl under the fence or anything. So we've got our waters working now with concrete pads, which is pretty exciting. And then also part of doing the chores every day is all of our horses have one of these barrels with a cutout, and inside the barrel with the cutout you will find a salt lick and free choice minerals. So we just use the Hoffman's horse minerals. They're free choice and loose there, so they can have as much as they want. And I'm going to take you guys inside our feed room. So behind our barn is our little feed room here, and I'll take you guys inside so you can take a look at what doing daily chores is like. So we have a little daily chores checklist for the staff to take a look at. It kind of goes through hay, water, grain, a tidy up, and kind of other things to check. And the list starts with looking at our communication board. So this is our communication board where any special notes are. So that's got Piper's omeprazole that she's getting right now for her ulcer treatment. So the dosage and the dates are written on there. And anything new kind of gets written there or changed. And then we have our feed chart. So our feed chart is organized by paddock. So every horse is down there, which also has a description of their color. And then their grain is on the one side as well, to just kind of make it easier for the staff bringing everybody in, and with what their grain is and what their supplements and stuff are. So it's all by paddock. And then for our actual grain, we offer 3 options, and then some boarders provide their own stuff. So we offer Optimal, which is kind of a vitamin mineral balancer, really good just as a top dress. Then we have a senior feed for the horses that need more calories and more energy. And then we offer alfalfa pellets. which offer complete proteins and kind of give horses what they need for extra weight or fiber. And then these are some of the extra bins that Borders provide for their own grain. Got a whole bunch of extra buckets there. And then, of course, a variety of supplements. Everybody provides their own supplements. The most common supplements that are here is you see the oils for the omega-3s. And we also have some omega-alpha supplements that different horses get. So we've got some GastroFX, we've got some Respi-Free that horses are on. The aloe vera juice is supposed to be good for ulcer prevention. So we've got a few horses that get that. And we've got some other horses that get things like the GLS powder, which is good for joint supplement. And a bunch of horses you can see get the oil supplement, and some horses get hoof supplements and things like that too. Our extra grain bags are along the side there, so that's where we tuck them in behind the door, and that's a heating panel that's behind our grain there, that black panel, and all of our medications are up top and all the extra stuff. So if we need any horsey first aid or anything, it's all up there. And we usually put the buckets, so the buckets when they're done feeding will all go back up according to paddock. So every horse has their own labeled bucket. We rinse it and put it back up there. And so you can see there's a whole stack of buckets ready for the next paddock to be fed. And inside our wash stall, we have a few other buckets of grain. They just get different things. So Indy's getting some finishing touch. Glimmer's got some different supplements and things. Annalise has some different pellets that she gives her horse, different phase 4 pellets. So a whole bunch of different stuff. Of course, we can't forget our chickens. This is one of our silky roosters. So we have some Easter egger chickens, we have a couple ducks, and we have some silky chickens that are also part of daily chores getting fed. So they're out and about enjoying the puddles, and they get their food every day as well. But enough of our chickens. They're super cute and fluffy though, back in the barn. So taking some of the horses back out here. So usually when we take the horses back out, we don't usually bother to clip up the bottom clasp on the halter. So they tend to just kind of take them out like that. And our horses don't get turned out with halters on. We take the halters off. For the most part, the only time we leave a halter on is if we have issues catching that horse, and then it kind of becomes a bit of a toss-up. Do you leave the halter on the horse that's hard to catch so it's easier for staff if there was an emergency or something like that? Or do you take the halter off because it can be a safety concern to leave halters on horses in the field if they get caught on a hay feeder or something like that? There isn't much to get caught on in our fields, but horses are very creative at hurting themselves and putting themselves into difficult situations. So you never really know. And those big piles of dirt that you see at the front of the barn there, that's just because we got new gravel in. And here is one of our little kittens. If you guys remember, we picked up some kittens when we picked up Mac. And so here's what they're looking like now. So this little one we call Miko, and then the black one we call Panda, who is hiding right now. But I thought I'd just show you her. And back in the barn here, I thought you guys would enjoy seeing Bunny go back outside. So little Bunny, goodness gracious, she's so tiny in her little blankets there going out. So she's doing a great job leading in and out of the barn. And coming in for their supplements every day is good for them. Our horses get hay most of the year. Our grass season is very short just because in Canada the grass isn't really out for very long anyways. It's usually, from June until August. Like, it's really only a few months of the year, and then it stops growing. So the omega-3 supplement is really important because you don't get omega-3s in hay, and you also don't get a lot of vitamin E in hay either. So the oil that I give has omega-3s and the vitamin E in it. So she's getting all those supplements, which are really good for them. But also she just gets this practice of coming in and out of the barn and being led, which is great. So these are her two buddies that she ended up with, and they're it's hilarious. They're like the funniest couple ever. So Marty is the big dark bay. So he's an old retired war horse from a war horse racehorse, which means he raced over 50 times and raced till he was over 10 years old. And then little Beasley, who's only 2 years old herself. So they make the cutest little couple, and they basically have adopted Bunny as their own. And they're very protective of her and really like to know what she's up to. So it's very cute that they all get along and they're this happy little family. Bunny and her two funny parents there. They're pretty ridiculously cute. But anyways, that is feeding the horses at the farm. Let me know if you learned anything or what you liked about our setup or if you have any ideas for improvement. But anyways, we are continuing to take out the ponies and thank you for watching.